Yo, what's poppin', HFL community? It's your boy Shit XT5 back again with another podcast, man. We got my goons out here, man. We got C Slick 4 here, and we also got Liquid Fire here, who's a new recruit this season. This is gonna be lit, man. This is our first time. We're actually on a video call right now, and this is the first time we ever done this, so we're making history right now as we speak. It's pretty lit. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. We'll start with C Slick.
Yo, what's up? C Slick, best wide receiver in the league. Force to be reckoned with. No cap.
Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Rookie actually, first season. Been having a lot of fun so far. Looking forward to a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, these are three players in the league right now. Y'all seeing our faces right now. We're not scared. So like we come with the smoke. We want all the smoke.
I'm too sexy to hide this face, baby.
There you go. Got that mindset. We ain't play with them. So yeah, man, we packed with a lot of topics today, man. The first one we're gonna start off with is this racism thing, man. What's been going on in the world? This worldwide epidemic, and man, I don't know. I guess I'll start it off. So me personally, like with this racism thing, this weekend I was with one of my friends, and we was in the park just chilling and stuff. And this old white guy came up to us. And he was talking to us. He was like, "Hey, what's good, y'all?" And he said he worked at Lowe's, and he said that he was dealing with this black guy, and he was loading stuff into his car and stuff like that. And he cracked a joke to this black guy, which I guess he cracks to a lot of other people. Black, white is what he said. Black, white, any ethnicity just cracks just for fun. And the black guy took to offense of it and like walked off cursing and shit. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not cursing. All right, that was one. That was a warning. Was cursing and stuff like that. And like he just wanted our opinion on it about like the black perspective from it. And I told him, I said, bro, like all black people are not the same. I was like, he told me the joke he told the black guy, and I laughed. So I'm like,
yeah.
You know
I mean, that's just anybody. It's not even like you can't even like say like all black people are the same. Nobody's the same. Like, what you're gonna find funny, like I might not find funny. Like it doesn't matter what it is. I can get offended by something completely different that y'all probably don't even know about.
Exactly. That's one of the things I've noticed across the board. It's that if you're a part of a minority, then you become like the poster child for that entire group, that entire ethnic group.
Yeah.
So whether, like, for example, I'm Indian or of an Indian descent, and so every time it's like, curry jokes or this or that, whatever, and it's like, I mostly just laugh them off. I grew up in Australia. Australia's pretty racist as a country. Like I got a pretty thick skin on that. But sometimes it's like just because an Indian person did something doesn't mean all Indian person or Indian people do this, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I think it brings or comes to light when we deal with the situation in the world right now. It's that just because one black person or one Indian I mean, Australia has one of the worst records for treating its Aboriginal population. Like they did a thing called the Stolen Generation. They literally took kids of the local Aboriginal population and put them into like boarding schools and were trying to like breed the black out of them. Like that kind of really, really messed up stuff, right? And so that's when you learn about that, you go, okay, when you put it into context, it's like just because, a few white people did that or the country at the time, it doesn't mean all white people are bad. By that same token, if you sit around and do nothing, like, you're complicit in that. Just if you don't speak up to something that's wrong, you're letting it happen. And that's part of the problem. So that's some of the issues that I've noticed across this entire thing, that people go, oh, you're Indian, therefore if you do something bad, you become the poster child. But if someone else, like, the Caucasian person or whatever, does the same thing, it's like, well, why do we not go, oh, all white people are bad or all Indian people are bad or whatever? Why do we, when that happens, we go, oh, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. Like, it's just that one person. The language around it is really loaded, and it's really not gonna drop the curse word.
It's just all perspective based. Everybody's like, well, the way I see it is, I have no problem with you unless you give me a reason to distrust you.
Yeah.
Then that's the way the world should be, I believe. Because nobody's innately evil unless it's through their experiences when they become bad. And that's just down to a personal level rather than where you grew up or where you're from.
Even then,
because
it's
personally,
more of a,
I came. If you were to meet my family, Marcus can attest to this. My family, many people would call rednecks because, I mean, that's what they are. They call themselves rednecks.
Yeah.
But not a single time has my family turned down any of my friends that have ever been of any other ethnicity other than white. And, in fact, invite them over more. Speaking of which, Marcus, Dad asked if you were coming over for any cookout this year.
Oh, yeah.
Before it gets cold.
You just want his mom's food, don't you?
Bring my mom's food out.
bring the tray of food.
That was a segue into asking you if you want to come over.
Heck yeah, man, I'm coming through, man. It's not even.
Yes, sir.
I want to come down this weekend, so I really want to do, but I don't know what you're doing. We'll talk about that.
This weekend, this Saturday, I'm getting up early. I got to go buy some combat boots and some running shoes and pants. And then I ain't doing anything the rest of the day.
Okay. I'll let you know. We're going to do something for sure.
Yeah.
And another thing I was talking about, and I was just thinking about this the other day, like, man, like, this is just speaking from my race, like, protesting only gets you a certain distance, man. Like, well, like, we protested for Martin Luther King back in the 60s. Ain't nothing changed. You feel me?
Yeah.
I always feel like you can deal with something just by loving each other. You feel me? God is love. And, you know, I just
you on that Bob Marley vibe right now.
Yeah. Always
yes,
on Bob
Rastafarianism.
Yes, bro.
Because I told my fiance like a while back that I was like Rastafarian. Like I follow Rastafarianism.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I thought you were a Christian. I was like, Rastafarianism isn't technically a religion. It's more of an addition to what you believe, more or less morality.
Like an outlook on the world.
It's like, yeah, like treat others the way you want to be treated, basically. That's the premise of Rastafarianism.
Yeah, that's all this. And that's literally what I try to do. And I try to do that with everybody. Like, everyone just love each other, man. Like, are we protesting for what? What are we getting? You know, it's just starting riots. It's starting taking people away from other people's jobs, you know, because you riot and you start burning down buildings.
Yeah.
Now the people don't got freaking jobs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with protesting, peaceful protest. I went out and protested in Shelby with some of my buddies. Yeah. But, like, when it gets violent and you're hurting other people or, like, hurting their way of life.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I think that's something that I've, like, looked into. And when I looked into, I mean, more along the lines of, without sounding more like it's a conspiracy or whatever, it's more along the lines of when the world puts a monetary value on everything, the only way to make people listen is to make it loud. And the only way to make it loud in a world that only values money is to attack the money. And so, like, I completely get, right? Like, Marcus, you're right. You know, you don't want people's livelihoods threatened. Like, you don't want your local McDonald's to burn down or whatever. Like, it directly impacts people. Or forget McDonald's. That's a big chain. They might be able to repair or whatever. But like your local diner, right? That's run by this 60-year-old guy, and he has like a nice staff of 5 people and so on. But more important thing there is like, yeah, it's like instead of thinking like, for me, I've tried to flip the thinking in that instead of feeling, like, yeah, the Black Lives do matter, but let's not riot. It's like, yeah, rioting is bad, but Black Lives Matter more. Mm-hmm. Like I that's the way I'm looking at it, because this is the only way to make people heard. You mentioned Martin Luther King earlier, and something that stuck to me when I was watching a documentary called The 13th. It's on Netflix. I know that's on Netflix. I don't know if that's anywhere else. Yeah, but they brought up in that one. Yeah, it's that people like to whitewash history as much as possible. So why did Martin Luther King become so popular, but they tried to silence Malcolm X or the Black Panther?
Malcolm, like they protested. It was
Malcolm X is
God. Like the way they killed him,
amazing,
right? And
his writings are amazing, man.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But why? It was because he didn't fit the narrative, right? It didn't fit the narrative of the government or the police or whomever, whoever's in charge of that PR machine or engine or whatever you want to call it, was trying to push out. And so they picked the person that did fit that narrative. And that's not to discredit the work that Martin Luther King did. You know, he did some of it was on the back of that civil rights movement and the laws that were signed because of it that, you know, people I know, family, friends, etc., were able to immigrate from countries like India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, you know, that entire region, or the UK, etc., to the United States. It was because of you know, seeing people other than those that were Caucasian as people that they were able to move. And all that work is important, but the key thing here is like, what's that narrative? Like, what are they trying to push?
It's like they have a premise but no conclusion. And that's what I'm saying. It's like
I've seen that discrimination too, because personally I have, like, my aunt, she married a man that came from Pakistan, so I have half Pakistani cousins and their kids, and they've had a lot of discrimination through the years, but like, they don't necessarily take it the same way. They're more or less, I don't know if it's the way they were raised from their father, because they always said their father was a peaceful man, but they also said the rest of their family back in Pakistan was the same way, where instead of fighting it, more or less being taught to submit to it and be humble about it and just kind of go your own way about it, instead of. And they said that's just something that they're taught. Growing up with those kind of values from that country.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I see in a lot of people that I know are Indian and things like that. But the difference here is, you know, it's one person or, you know, a group of people in a small town or something like, you know, your local neighborhood kind of thing, as opposed to an entire regime that's designed to keep you down. If you think of it in a way that, you know, when India kicked out the British,
when was this?
They had the option to you know, just keep it in or take it or whatever. But like, and they did for hundreds of years, close to over 300 years. But why did it get to a point where they needed to have protests and push their oppressors out? Because the way people weren't seen as people. And I think that's what we're getting to here in the United States and around the world. I think what's happening in the United States is a catalyst for a larger change that spans the globe, where people go, yes, what's happening in the States is bad, and you can feel bad about it, but don't ignore the realities in your own backyard. And it's starting, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement is being picked up by other countries that have their indigenous populations and things like that. And that's what I think is really important. That isolated incidents don't define an entire culture, or shouldn't really.
Yeah, it should. And my bad, y'all. I know exactly what the Indians and the British. I was confused for a second, just so y'all don't think I'm a dummy. I know.
Boy, you're a dummy. See, I'd also like to talk about that. You're talking about like how people aren't seeing others as people, like humans.
Yeah.
So the field that I've chosen, I start in August for my law enforcement training for the United States. But the thing about that is, I want to go in and be different than the bad history that the cops have had in the past. But as soon as I'm going in, or if I was to even be known in like these big like riots and stuff, I'm automatically hated by 50% of the population,
and that's why I don't.
In the United States before I even swear in.
Exactly, and that's why I don't like.
So you got to give the new generation a chance to change rather than keep them down for saying like you're part of the problem for even trying to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that freaking, that want to be police officers. I have a bunch of like white people who are police officers. They're like, bro, they got a family to feed. They're not out here to ride and get killed because another police officer was being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to murder or do whatever. It's like all police officers aren't the same. It's like all black people aren't the same. It's like all white people aren't the same. Everyone's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain minority. And it's like,
have y'all seen Atlanta right now?
No, I haven't.
Atlanta cops, they're not responding to any calls, even if like just because they're not risking it, like, and they're doing it out of protest for
whatever his
name is that shot that guy. What do y'all think about Rashard Brooks?
Was that the guy from Atlanta?
Yeah, the dude that pulled the taser from the utility belt of the police officer, turned around and shot at him.
I feel like it could go either way because you got to think about it. Number one, that dude was in the wrong. Well, he was in the wrong spot. First of all, I don't know why he would arrest you. That's sleeping in the fucking drive-through. I'm sorry, god dang, sleeping in a drive-through. Like, you shouldn't arrest him for that. He just fell asleep.
Well, I get they were just following protocol because it is illegal to sleep in public places, most big cities.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And what are you gonna do? Arrest every homeless person there is?
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Exactly.
That's what I'm getting.
Like, we get that you're, homeless, but it's against the law to be poor, so get into jail.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a lot of this is coming from. This is what we mean, and this is what I think everyone means when they talk about systemic oppression of a people or a group or whatever. It's that, if you, I think there's a great video that explains something called redlining. It was a process put in place in the early or mid 90s. I'm not 100% on the dates, but essentially what it did was it created neighborhoods that the government was willing to give loans on. And those loans would only be given to people that were buying in these, nice neighborhoods, because they would be like, yeah, we're going to get our money back on this. However, the people that developed those houses or those homes, like Levittown homes, for example, they had blatantly racist policies. Things like, a Levittown home cannot be lived in by anyone other than those of the Caucasian race. Like, it was specifically printed in their booklets or in their guides or agreements or whatever. Like, I may be paraphrasing here, but in stuff like that. And so that would create like a neighborhood which was only white people could buy into. Now, that neighborhood's property values increase because it's backed by the government, like the government's paying loans, etc. Whereas anyone else, so black people, Latinos, or is it Latinx now, Latinx or Indians, or anyone else that wasn't white would have to buy on the other side of the red line. And so when they want to try and buy a place, the bank wouldn't give them a loan. The government wouldn't give them a loan. It was a directly racist policy by the government at the time. And as a result, what ended up happening is you now have education disparity in the United States, which I honestly, as someone from Australia, I think this is really strange. Why your schools are funded by your local land taxes, like your area's land tax or whatever. So when you have a wealthy neighborhood, they can pay more tax, therefore their public schools are better equipped, they get more funding, etc. Whereas in this random arbitrary neighborhood, you have less lower income people because they were always held down. Their schools get paid less, they have less funding, less teachers, and bigger class sizes. And so it's just a cyclical loop that builds on itself. And the only way to break that loop is to provide more funding where it's needed. Now, I'm not saying that, kids in the richer neighborhoods shouldn't get access to education. It's the fact that the government needs to focus more on like federal funding or state funding on the lower income areas to lift more people out of poverty. I remember reading a statistic or seeing one, I think it was on the Patriot Act by Hissan Minaj. It's a free show on YouTube as well as on Netflix and I think one or two other places, but he said something like, if you graduate college, you are 93% or something like that. You're 92% more likely to lift yourself out of poverty. And along, obviously, as you lift yourself out of poverty, your family, friends, etc., will come out with you depending on your situation. So,
3%.
like, that's the importance of college education. However, this is another problem with the United States, and I might be like hating on the States here, but like, what is with your education system with colleges? Like, it costs an arm and a leg, and still not enough. You might have to sell a kidney and half your liver and maybe a lung and an eyeball too.
My tuition right now that I gotta pay back is like 40 grand.
God, hey, boy, I'm upset with 5 grand. I'm pissed off.
I went to the University of Sydney, right, in Australia. The University of Sydney is currently ranked, I believe, number 2 in Australia, 40 in the world. So it's not the best, but it's really high up there for the country, and ranks pretty highly in the world. Overall, because of the way the Australian higher education system works, I paid upfront for a 4-year degree. Sorry, a 3-year degree that I extended to 4 years, $20K. And I paid. Nice. I choose to pay up front. Yeah, it is super nice. I chose to pay up front. Right, this is a bachelor's degree. If you're a citizen, I'm not an Australian citizen. I grew up there, but I'm from New Zealand originally. If I was a citizen, even that 20 grand becomes a government loan that is indexed by inflation. That means your loan goes up like something like 2 or 2.2, 2.4% per year as interest, and that's it. Like that's how it. That's just to make the dollar value, from when you did the degree to when you pay it off, consistent. And so a lot of people that do, can afford to go to university because the government has your back. And unless you earn more than, I think it's about $40,000 or $48,000 Australian, you don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay that money back. It sits there permanently. So the moment you start earning more than that, you do have to pay it back, and it comes out of your tax. But that's government having my back. Right, I can afford to go to college and do better. And I think we digress from the original problem, the original premise of our discussion. But these are compounding issues that build up across a nation.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we $17 trillion in debt. Like, well, the only thing we got to do is work harder on the citizens here, because we're trying to get out. We're really not trying to get out this debt. Let's be honest. We too in deep. But this is like endless amounts of workload on the citizens, just because it's the attempting part of getting out the debt that really is not there, because we're not gonna have. You know what I'm saying? So. It's crazy, man. Like the system, government, oh my God. College, I didn't understand once I graduated. I was like, it was cool. I did track and field in college. I went to Gardner-Webb University.
You weren't no good.
That's when you had to, graduate and leave.
Yeah. I went there, then I went to University of Cincinnati in Ohio for my last 2 years. And I had a full at Gardner-Webb, but at Cincinnati, I had to pay $5 grand. I understand it's not none of what y'all dealing with, but from an athlete standpoint, it's like, bro, I busted my tail, doing track and school. I'm a double major, so I'm doing double time in school. I'm an athlete, so it's like, man, for me to pay $5 grand, as soon as I got out, I was like, this is a money scheme. College is a money scheme. I won't even let my kids go to college if it's like that.
Sally Mae,
for real.
Sally Mae taking all our money.
I only found out about Sally Mae recently when I started looking into why the United States education system was so bad in terms of why it costs so much and what's happening and all of that. Honestly, if anyone interested, if any of the listeners are interested, I would highly recommend for the facts, if you want, listening to or watching The Patriot Act by Hassan Minhaj. I think one of the most recent one as of Sunday. What was the date on Sunday? That one was on college fees and college tuition and all of that. Especially, and I think that the premise the question he's answering is college worth it in 2020, where everything's online? You could learn the same thing off some Indian guy on YouTube, right?
Right.
Like, is it worth it? Is that piece of paper worth it? And honestly, at the end of the day, I think the answer to that is something only people can judge for themselves if they feel it's worth it. I know my background is in physics, astrophysics and computer science. And
well, for me, I need the 4-year degree for the agency that I want to be with. They'll only accept you if you have a 4-year degree, a bachelor somewhere.
Right, yeah, and a lot of jobs are like that, especially in the tech field. But over the last maybe 5-10 years, there's been a big push, especially with big tech companies like Facebook and Google that have done away with degree restrictions. They look at You know, they realize that you don't need to have a degree to be a good programmer or a developer or, you know, any of those kinds of highly technical fields. And that helps. That really helps. That means that when good talent is being taken up by these big companies, the banks and the governments and the classic corporations kind of go, oh, wait, if we want to fight for this pie, we better drop our restrictions. So there's certain things I still think always should need a degree, like, you know, medicine. You don't want a doctor who learned on YouTube. Like, no thanks, man.
You messed up. You better watch out.
You know, you were supposed to, you know, operate on my heart. Yeah. Why is my leg missing? Oh, whoops.
I'm sorry. That'll be 20 grand.
But only in the States would that be 20 grand.
Right. USA for you, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's a big topic, bro. But I know we'll be on that for days, man. But let's move into this HFL stuff, man. I've been doing this for a long time. So Liquid, how has your season been? How have you been liking it? Well, first, before we do that, let's go ahead and tell you guys how the HFL's been going. It's been going great. We're halfway through the season. We have a lot of new recruits this year, and we went down a team. The captain of the Seawolves ended up resigning and ended up being a co-commentator with BTAC. You know, so all the players from Seawolves moved to other teams that scatter out throughout the league, and it's been working pretty good. And we're still continuing strong, which is surprising because you would think that we will fall off after one team resigned. Like you would think all the other teams will fall off, but we're doing pretty good. So I think the rankings are us, the Wendigos, and then it's the Spades, their second ranking. Then you got the Lightning, their third ranking. Then the Tornadoes, their fourth ranking. So, but keep an eye on the Tornadoes because they just got 2 new recruits in. They got one. I think he's British, man. Not for sure. He won't tell us what race he is, but I think he's British. But he's a quarterback, and I've been teaching him. You know what I'm saying?
Is that Vincent?
I'm trying to get him like better than me. So he's out here showing his tail. He's gonna have his debut game, I believe, Friday or Saturday against the Lightning. So against Liquid a little. So y'all gonna see him play. We're gonna see how he does. I can't wait. I'm hyped. We've been practicing, so we've got him, and then we got another recruit coming in. So watch out for the Tornadoes. They may move up in the rankings throughout the season. Got a long.
Not if we have anything to say about it.
Yeah, man. Y'all got a good team, bro. I mean, y'all got Sullivan, but also young Hoop Star has been trying to take that quarterback role. And
Hoop is fantastic.
Yeah, he might be like a Cam Newton, low key. How he was saying it.
Hoop scared to guard me.
But he is,
he was telling me about that.
He be going Halo all the time. I'll be like, bro, but he's gonna be a dominant quarterback. I really hope y'all switch both of them, you and Sullivan and Hoop Star out. I feel like y'all make a dominant team for the Lightning. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we're scheduling some practices in to see what we can do around the team structure and just practice really. I think that's one of the key things with this game, especially coming in as a rookie and being the first year. I don't have the muscle memory. B, I don't, a lot of the sneaky tactics that the Wendigos like to pull off, like the crouch around people. It gets anyone who uses the radar a lot. But hey, public service announcement: don't use your radar much. Look with your eyes, and you'll catch them.
There you go. You can do both. Whichever way.
Balance.
Don't worry. Next time I'll keep it clean for you. I'll still burn you though. But I'll keep it clean for you.
It's honestly it's been a lot of fun. I was on the Seawolves now with Lightning. Both teams are fantastic. It's honestly as much as I'm enjoying playing the game, I'm really liking the people. Playing with everyone, it's a lot of fun. It's a really nice community. Everyone's out to have fun and do what we do
we
best.
We definitely have some hotheads though, for sure.
I think I'm one of them.
I mean, I get hot-headed in games whenever stuff's just not going right. But as soon as the game's over, I'm done with it.
And people take it too far. I tell people all the time, don't take it too far, man. It's a video game. Don't stress out about this because you will make this lead over until the next time we meet up. But then you're going to be mad for no reason. Why you so upset, bro? Why you so uptight? Like, relax, man. And that's a hard thing to take because it's hard for me sometimes when I lose or something like that and I got to get off the game. You can't punch nobody enough because it's not physical. So you gotta like learn how to kind of deal with that and just like let it go. Like, bro, bump it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, but at the same time, it gets you mentally prepared for just life stuff, period. Because I ain't gonna lie, this Halo football has rewired my head to like, I just want to win. Is that period? I just want to win. So it's like now that I take that to my everyday life. I be at the job, I be wherever I do it. I just want to win. Whatever I got to do to win, whatever it takes to be number one, I'm gonna do it. So it's like, you know, that's just my mind. That's how it makes me. So you know, that's where it puts me at. I don't know where it puts you all at, but man.
Some of the most frustrating things is like, you know, you could have done better. Like, you know, you could have done better in either receiving or guarding or chasing someone down or anything. It's like just, and part of it is A, what happens on the field, you should leave on the field. That's only in relation to maybe if you had a spat or anything like that. But always take away a learning. It's like, oh, hey, I remember that, you know, I got frustrated because I couldn't catch up. Why couldn't I catch up? Well, you know, instead of jumping, you should have slid across the ground or whatever. Like it's being able to reflect on that. And I've noticed personally that the more I do that, the more I am able to recognize plays or understand the movement that's in Halo. When you play normal Halo like Warzone or like team match or something, like you don't move the way you do in this. No. And it's something that
faster though. Like if
you
like
do.
Me, I play Halo, like if I play a Warzone or something, I'm moving quicker because I look like an alien compared to other people because they're like, how's he moving so fast? You know, because I play Halo, I do this all the time. So that's how my mind started to shoot, aim, pop, you know, it's quick.
Marcus, I will drill you in
Call of Duty. Snipers on Call of Duty.
I'll drill you with anything in Call of Duty, bro.
No, on MW3, you might have to see me, bro. You might have to see me.
That was nah, bro. That was my best Call of Duty game. Don't even add me. Don't even add me, bro. I had like a
I love playing COD, but I like COD is not a good game to measure skill with. Remember, the first person you shoot,
you want like CS? You want like CS:GO or something?
CS:GO is good.
CS:GO, Valorant.
Halo, you gotta go actively. CS:GO, I would hands down ref this.
What?
Don't you play CS:GO?
I do.
Yeah, bro. Got that setup right here.
I got a little. You got to say, I got a 1v1 after this.
Have you got Valorant? Did you download Valorant?
Who, me?
No.
Valorant.
I've heard good things about it. It's like a cross between it's a cross between CS:GO and like Overwatch, right?
Yeah. Dude, it is so fun. It's so much more fun than CS:GO. It's so much more fun than CS:GO. I love Valorant.
I ain't never played it. We gotta try it out.
Well, first you gotta get a PC.
I can't do it on this. Freaking Liquid rundown on.
I don't know. It's basically a mobile game. You might be able to download it from your laptop. Same thing with League of Legends, bro. League of Legends, you could definitely download and play.
Yeah, but League doesn't require a lot to run.
I need a mouse.
No, not at all.
I definitely need a mouse.
I love League, though. I'm addicted to League. I've spent over $1,000 on skins for League.
Damn.
Just on skins.
You spend money on skins. Like, that's what you really spend money on. It's like skins.
Yeah, bro. I got this one. It's Dunk Master Darius, and he carries around he usually carries around an axe, but he carries around a basketball goal. And if he's just standing there, he'll just start dribbling a basketball. And it's so funny. Yeah. I'll just hit the emotes on him as soon as I kill him.
Like, I never understood that. Like, I never understood people who want skins. You know, that part of that is because I never understood sneakerheads. Like, I don't
don't even add me, bro. Hold on. I got y'all.
Oh, God. Y'all about to see Cody's stash right now.
Oh,
don't even. Yo.
But, like, how much money are you going to pay? Like, you know,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And how much do you spend on that?
What does that say?
$200, bro. These the Air Force One.
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir.
I feel like the bongo's stupid. Yeah, that bongo nice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, look, it looks nice. It really does. But you know how much it costs Nike to produce that? Do you say Nike or Nike?
Hey, bro. I don't even care.
Like, it legitimately cost them, like, $20, so they paid some poor kid in China to make it.
That's
like Nike's got really bad practices. Like, everyone knows this.
That's so goddamn true. Low key, that's low key very true. And it's,
I mean,
these are my favorite. These are easy.
Well, you can never wear them, right?
Bro.
The moment you wear them and like you walk out and a dog craps on them, you're done.
Oh no, I don't wear these hardly anywhere.
Yeah. Then what's the point of having them?
They're just, I don't know, they look good. See? my ice creams, baby. These are my ice creams.
Those are good. Those are good. You can't wear them nowhere. You got to go somewhere where you know you ain't stepping nowhere outside. It's from out.
I have
makes
so
sense.
many shoes.
If you're like a billionaire and like if they roll out the carpet and like you walk out your house into a car to like another 5-star, but like you're not walking on the street. It makes sense when you have so much money you don't walk on the streets. That's why like when Kanye buys one of these, like he's got a Yeezys, I'm like, you know what? Makes sense. The dude gets driven everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Kanye
I have nothing but shoes, bro.
Them shoes
nothing but shoes, bro. Shoes all day.
Like, you know Mark Zuckerberg, right? That T-shirt he wears?
Flights, whoever. Throwback. Flights, baby. That's how we go.
Sir.
We're going to put it back.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. The T-shirt Mark Zuckerberg wears, it's like $800, right?
Yeah.
His T-shirt is like $800.
A T-shirt? $800?
Yeah. Hey, I want to hear that from you. How much is that? How much are your sneakers?
Boy.
How much are my sneakers?
Yeah,
altogether?
like altogether. How much you reckon?
Well, I got 400 in just 2 pairs, so hold on. Probably close to about $2,000.
Right. Okay. Sorry, not 800. My bad. It was $400 for a T-shirt for Zuckerberg's T-shirt.
Yeah, what's up, my boy?
Dude's net worth is $80 billion. Oh, hey, what's up?
All right, so I'm about to have to head out of here, boys. Yeah. We're about to go to my dad's band gig.
Like, his band plays music.
I know y'all are not just talking in here like this. All right, I'll see y'all. Get out of here. Killing the stream.
Kill it, bro.
All right, see y'all. How the heck do I leave this place?
There it is. Bottom right should be end.
All right, see y'all, boys.
See you, mate.
Yeah, see, so he plays guitar too and stuff too. So like that's where he going. His dad plays as well, and I think their guitarist got sick or something. So
right.
To come do their thing, so they about to go out there and jam out and like Cody can sing too, man. Like there's a lot of stuff about Cody you don't know, and you just gotta know him on a personal level to see. Man, very talented, very talented. Man, as you can see, he made the stadiums, like half of our stadiums.
Yeah. They are fantastic.
Yeah, he's an artist.
They are fantastic. I mean, he'd be great at like things like graphic design and stuff like that. But he's got a career path he wants, so best of luck. And hopefully there's a system in place that empowers him to make the changes he wants from what we were talking about earlier.
Man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, we're glad you're enjoying the HFL, bro. Like we have a lot of stuff happening in the future. Like I don't want to talk about it because I don't. It's so excited. It's like I want to talk about it, but I know the repercussions of talking about it.
It's Fight Club.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what people are gonna do, so I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But this is your last year, right? You're retiring.
Yeah, I got to, man. I got to, bro. It's for the betterment of the league.
Getting old.
Yeah, it's getting old. It's really getting like don't take this personal at all. No one does. Like, I hate winning. I'm getting tired of winning right now because it's getting look, I promise you, like you think I'm joking until you be in my shoes. You like I'm tired of this stuff. Like you just get tired of it. Literally, like, bro, like all of my people left. The people I started off this league with 8 years ago, they're gone. So it's like I have basically like nobody I started the league off with by fun and everything. So that competition part is like kind of because I'm kind of gone because I'm trying to recruit new people and then they're trying to and they're not on the same level as me and like all the veterans. So it's like I'm getting tired of it. So it's like more of I think if I take the ownership role, you know what I'm saying, like just step back and just start pushing it.
Yeah.
Then
we might.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just to interrupt. We might have a Spec Alpha joining in right last minute though, but let's
bring him in here.
Let's see what's happening there. But no, I
go ahead.
Look, I get like a game's no longer fun if it's going to be an easy ride to the win. But like I was wondering what you were planning on doing. So is that like more of a coach capacity and try and work through all the teams, coach them into being better, train them, etc., just to get that average skill level to get higher? Is that your plan?
What I want to do, like I want to make everyone better than me. Like that's the thing. Like I want people to be better than me. So it's like I'm pushing people to be great. Like that's why I want people to practice with me. I'm like, yo, if you want to practice, come on. I love doing this because like I don't want to be the greatest at this. I want people to be better than me. So it's like taking that role, that coaching role. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
And not only that, but that frees me up for like marketing HFL more. I can't really
Yeah.
market because I'm playing. So it's like think about it like this: like everyone that I recruit into the league is more of a competitive recruiting. So it's like I'm recruiting you, but I'm playing against you. So that competitive mind says I'm not going to tell you everything you need to know because I'm trying to beat you in the game. So once I become an owner, that whole mindset is kicked out. Even now, like it's low key getting kicked out. I was like, I'm gonna give you everything you need to know to be successful, and it's your opinion to do it. So So
yeah, for sure. I mean, you did recruit me into this as well, right? I think we played what? Was it? I think it was Fiesta or something, and
Fiesta.
I got a message from was like, "Who's this guy? What does he want me to do?" Like, yeah, all right, sounds fun.
You'll know what to say. Half the messages I get, bro, they get crazy, man. I've got banned for responding back to messages because I be heated. Like people, some days don't care some people, and then like I get back, I got banned multiple times, like my account. But yeah, I know people get that, like, who is this dude? Whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's just the online gamer community sometimes, where instead of just being civil, they resort straight to nuclear options.
Yes, piss me off, like, and I get, oh God, man. God. But how was you? What was you saying? Like, how did you feel?
What do you mean?
Yeah, when I recruited you, like, were you like, who is this dude? Like, is this?
Oh no! I was like, what's going on here? Like, honestly, I rarely ever played online before I started playing on my Xbox. Hang on. Before I started playing on my Xbox One X, it was just like I had a 360. I had a membership for a little bit, but I'm like, you know what? Online's fun and all, but I was more a story kind of guy. Like I played games for the story. So after like starting to play here and stuff, I was like, you know what? No, I want. I moved from overseas. I came here. And I'm like, you know what? I want to make more friends and that kind of stuff. And I'm not too fussed about who they are, like online versus in real life. But being here means that time zones aren't as much of a problem, kind of thing. So I started playing online, and then I got like free membership with my Xbox. I was like, I'm still rolling on that. And then I'm playing, and I get a message from you. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? Like, I never get messages. Like, the one message I got was to tell me I sucked. I was like, are you kidding? Like, mate, come on. But yeah, so I got that message, and then and the next one I get is you. I'm like, oh, okay, what's this going to be? And then it's just you going, hey, I've got like this league. If you want to join, here's a brochure. Take a look. We've got a camp coming up. I couldn't make it to the camp, but and because I couldn't make it, I kind of ignored it. You followed up, which is usually not a lot of people do. Kind of like send out one message and that's it. They never really follow up. Followed up, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. My introduction / training became my combine, which. That was entertaining. But yeah, no. So since then, I've been part of it. Like it's been a little hard trying to adjust to a schedule, especially because you don't realize that you're going, oh, I've got other plans or I've got something come up. You're impacting everyone else, not just in your team, but the league as well. Because without you, a game might not be able to go ahead, and therefore now you've got close to take 2 rests. And 5 other people or 7 other people just kind of like, we can't do anything here. What's going on? So it has an impact for sure. And getting around that, planning around it, and it has been something that's been a bit of a challenge. But it's become easier recently, especially now that, COVID is on.
That's why I knew we hit it. We hit it. I was like, when COVID was on, I knew we could like push it more. Just everybody was home and everybody buying systems and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure.
And that's the tricky part about the HFL is that like in order to have fun in it, in order to enjoy it, in order to like keep playing it, it's for everybody. Like you gotta like just treat it like it's real life. And I understand like it's hard to get around, but like Mike Tyson once said, he said like boxing is 95% mental and 5% physical. So that's freaking 95. He's killing people, like knocking people out one hit, and that's 95% mental. God dang, just imagine if you understood like if you just play the HFL and just learn how to control people just with your mental and how to like just overcome things and everything.
Yeah,
like
right.
I'm telling you, because it's been many times, even with B-Tag, like B-Tag's got frustrated multiple times. He ain't even got to tell me. I know he has, like when we had to like start and stop multiple games just because people's lagging out, you know, people doing this. And it's like for us to keep that positive mindset, that's hard to do.
Yeah, and I didn't even consider B-Tag, right? Like I was like kind of the rest. Like B-Tag is like comment, like he goes out of his way to like stream it and commentate and like do all of the stuff, and like it's low key disrespectful, I think. And I know I've been well, sometimes like a lot of times I was going like, hey, I can't make it tonight for like, you know, not feeling well, or like, you know, sometimes you're just like, I can't deal with anything right now. It's been a crap day at work or whatever. But like that's just excuses. Part of it is just like you said, mental, like just switching it off and going, nope, it's game time, got to play the game and show up. And it's showing up that counts.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm telling you, I meant to hit on this too. Shout out to B-Tag too, because B-Tag is a G for what he does, man. He's going, man.
For sure, for sure.
I'm sure B-Tag is going to explode as far as his popularity with Twitch and stuff. It's going to go crazy. But like what I was saying with HFL, like it's all about if you practice with your team, if you treat your team like a regular job, like if you was playing, what's your favorite sport?
I used to play rugby and cricket.
Tell me about the rugby. Yeah, rugby's lit. If you treat your team like rugby, you know what I'm saying? You go out there, you like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Let's have fun. Let's do our thing. Come up with drills, come up with plays and stuff. And then the thing is executing those plays on the field and making sure and see if it works. But from my perspective, like if you train with me, like if you see me train, bro, you would probably not like it. You would probably get bored, or you may just be like, bro, what is this? But
see, part of it is like when I used to play CS, right? And I wanted to get better. The way you train is you literally spend like half an hour or an hour in like the training arena just practicing like your flicks or like remembering, you know, spray patterns for guns and stuff like that. And I think we have another person joining. We have Spec Alpha.
They joining really late right now. It's like 10 minutes left. But go ahead though. We'll wait for him to join. We'll get him.
Yeah. Anyway, while he's getting his video and everything else sorted. Yeah, no. So like you know you put in the hours, you put in the practice, right? You work on that. One thing I find with HFL though, you do need a practice partner. You can't. It's not a game that you can practice alone. You do need someone that's, you know, throwing that ball.
And that's very true.
Plasma grenades.
I can't talk like a wide receiver because I can't say the same perspective because I train by myself because I'm a quarterback. But like as a wide receiver, you do need an extra person. That's so goddamn true, bro.
Yeah. So goddamn true. And I think that's two birds with one stone, right? Like I get that you don't want when you practice with your team, that's where you practice your plays. But I think one thing we should maybe look into doing, because we're gonna have a chat of this offline, is just creating regular training schedules where everyone just pulls in and just like doesn't matter what team you're on, you just run down the field and the quarterbacks can just shoot at you. Like try to practice, you know, just hitting the guy, as well as the receivers. Like there's so many times I'm like, okay, I got this, and it's like it looks like it's going through me, but I'm like a couple of inches just too much to the right or left, and it's just like a little bit, and I could have caught it, kind of thing. Yeah. And that you just it needs practice. You need to be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, I recognize the way this is going and where I'm going to be able to do that.
And the game is continue to evolve too, and that's the thing. Like these ideas you're giving me, I take these, and if you send them to me, like boom, we're gonna implement them because it's not about me. It's about everyone else spreading their ideas so that the league can be better from other people. Like this league is so goddamn selfish. It's crazy. Like, man, I'll tell you, like, bro, like your idea, I'd be like, hey, that's yours. You copyright it. So someone asks about it, that's yours. Be like, yeah, it's mine. You get the money for it. You get whatever publicity you get from it. That's yours. That's not even me. I'm just running the league. I'm just a platform. That's all I am. Just a platform. That's what I'd like to see other people succeed, man. Especially when people are scared to, give their ideas out. I'm like, I like to build that bridge. We're like, hey, don't be scared to give ideas. There's no stupid question. There's no stupid idea. Like you could be successful off anything. And that's what I like to preach. I want people. I guess a lot of people haven't took that to the forefront yet. They haven't really believed it. But it's like, dog, you approach me with any idea. We'll try to implement it today so that you can get your props for, so that you can build your self-esteem, so you can build whatever you need to build up. So you be like, okay, this works. Okay, so I got more ideas of this. Okay, let me go ahead and implement this, and then let me do this, and then let me go start this brand, and let me start this. And it's a platform for the HFL. So it's like we want to put you on that pedestal where you grow.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like no, you know what I'm saying? No,
I mean, part of this is like, it's a great game. And who knows, like if you remember, Rocket League used to be part of Halo with warthogs and a big ball. Really? Yeah, Rocket League started in Halo. It used to be a version of Halo.
You lying.
And then, so the concept of Rocket League, and then it was moved into its own game. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah, it's dope. Brandon guys might be, but bro, I didn't know that because Slick is a big Rocket League fan. But bro, this is true.
Yeah, no. Let me see if I can find it. Rocket League started with Halo or something.
But I see it. If this is true, I can definitely see it.
Yeah. I'm like, I remember it being part of Halo. Maybe it was a spin-off, but Halo Ball, I think, is what it used to be called. I'm just like furiously Googling. Like I opened my mouth. I said something. I know because I'm gonna get flamed otherwise.
You're like, we gotta find this. I'm telling you, but I'll be mind blown. This is true. Like you done blow my mind. I got a whole different perspective of everything. What? Can't be true. Hey, Brandon.
What's up?
There he is, man. This is Spec Alpha, leader of Spec Alpha Gaming. Yeah, he's a leader, and he is also our sponsorship man. We're sponsored with them as well, so he just joined in. We got like 8 minutes left, Brandon, but we glad you in
here. My bad, bro. My bad. You know how the girlfriend gets. You know how girlfriends get whenever it comes to gaming.
You got to deal with the girl first, man, before the game starts. That's the priority.
Oh yeah.
Priority. Did you see it yet?
Going off of what you guys said, I think I was actually looking at purchasing Rocket League, but there's no point because my Xbox Live subscription ends like tomorrow.
Yeah.
A lot of the cars do look like warthogs, though. Warthogs.
Yeah. That's why maybe I'm like completely wrong because I'm like going through the Wikipedia threads and it was based off a game called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars. Like, holy crap, that's the name. But it was a game for the PS3 in 2008, 2009. But I swear it used to be part of Halo. But look, I can't find it, so I'm gonna say I was wrong.
It's all good. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Maybe a Halo fan will see us be like, "Hey, you all right?" You know, you never know. You never know what people might say in the comments once they see.
Yeah, this. Right. Who knows?
Yeah, it'd be crazy. But yeah, man. We probably got like 5 more minutes left in this podcast. It's been going pretty good, man. I like to end the podcast just with positivity and everything. But before that, any of you guys want to like bring up anything? Like before we go into all that stuff, like like y'all don't put any shoe-ins, anything like that.
I got open tryouts with I think one of them will be hosting. I'm not for sure. I still got to talk to the media manager. And I have to talk to the recruitment manager, Blake. Shout out to you. Welcome to the crew, by the way, if you're watching. I got to talk to them. We're thinking about having open recruitment while I'm gone because I am actually leaving for school soon. I won't be back till like next year, sadly. Yeah, I'm going willingly. That's the problem with that. A lot of people think I'm crazy because I'm actually going into military school. So
you're going to military school?
Yeah, I'm going like willingly. I'm going willingly. Like I enrolled myself into it.
I don't know. I think military is pretty a pretty good I don't know, calling, if you will.
Yeah.
Although in saying that, it's more about life and discipline and structure and all that stuff for me personally. I just American military is on steroids. Like that's unhealthy. Your GDP needs to be spent better elsewhere. But hey, I'm not American, so I'm not going to go down that road.
Our president puts like millions of dollars into the military, so it's like.
Hey, at least you have a Space Force now.
Huh?
At least you have a Space Force.
bro, hey, I don't know what to say.
Hey, no. Like, I legitimately mean it. Like, it has to start somewhere, right? Like, think of it this way. Like, imagine back when boats were new and some guy's like, let's create a thing called the Sea Army. And everyone laughed at him. And now it was like Navy was, well, during World War I and II, Navy was some of the most powerful hardware or whatever you want to call it out in the field. Like, those ships with over, like, you know, bombardments and whatever else were super useful. So at some stage, sure, it'll be there, but like it's got to start somewhere.
I feel you. Yeah, man. Like the U.S. is so crazy with our military that we don't even know half the stuff we got. Like, man, they got so much stuff they ain't introduced to us yet that we don't have no jets, goddamn missiles, ships. Bro, it's so much stuff we don't know. We still trying to figure out what Area 51 is. We don't even know what they say. We're like, bro, Brandon, are you the same way? Bro, we about boycott. Then we have an epidemic where we really about went to Area 51. Like everybody was like trying to team up and go to
Area 51.
Yes, bro, balls to the wall. Like go up in there. Don't care if we get killed. And like, see, it's a mystery. Like we don't know half the stuff our government does, and it's really none of my business. I'm not trying to figure it out. I know it's a lot.
Here's the thing with Area 51. You got to remember that was built. That particular base was built during the Cold War.
Yeah, I think it was designed to be smoke and mirrors.
There's a lot of stuff that we shouldn't know, but are being leaked every day. We just don't pick up on it.
Yeah. So how about
this?
Because
the media is covering everything up.
That was their job is. I don't even watch like media. CNN, I don't watch it. I know it's fake news. But do you believe that there are like, aliens in Area 51?
No.
Okay.
Why would they keep it there?
I don't know.
I think
stuff we come on. How the population believe it? They're like, that's aliens in Area 51.
Personally, I think it's under I think it's under like an airport, like an actual, yeah, like in Las Vegas.
I drove from Vegas to Grand Canyon in a nice what was it? I think it was a Corvette.
What was it?
No, it's what's that? Oh Jesus! It was Mustang convertible. Shelby G. No, it was a convertible. It wasn't a Shelby. I couldn't get the Shelby because they were like $600. I was like, I'll pass. I'll take the convertible. Thanks. It was a nice drive, though.
I personally think because ultimately, why would they put it somewhere where everyone expects it to be? You wouldn't expect aliens to be under a civilian airport, would you?
No.
Exactly.
Although, in saying that, right? Like, why is it that only the United States has the aliens? Like, why not, the UK or China or Germany or,
because
Czech Republic or something. Who knows? Australia. Like Australia's about as big as the continental United States.
Dude, knowing Australia, they'd probably make best friends with the aliens because nothing can kill them.
Kangaroos, that's what they are.
Oh yeah.
The kangaroos are that there. It's the aliens, y'all.
Dude, I low-key think kangaroos are just furry T-Rexes.
Bro, that's just speculation.
Although kangaroos pack a punch and a hell of a kick. Just don't. A kangaroo will gut you. Just don't get in the way. Marcus is gone.
Oh, furry gone. Bro, that's so accurate. No, it could be true. This could be the descendants of the dinosaurs that they turn furry.
No, it's definitely chickens. Chickens are descended from dinosaurs. That's like.
Yes. Is that real?
Like, no, that's actually real. Yeah, no, chickens are descended from dinosaurs.
That's some crazy stuff.
We're just gonna. Are we gonna ignore the fact that alligators are a thing too?
Oh yeah, alligators are real,
yeah.
bro. Like, bro, the prehistoric stuff that you see now, like, doesn't compare to the prehistoric stuff that was here like thousands of years ago. Like, oh my god, boy, what? That's just like, oh my god, like, bro, they had lizards that were like longer than like great white sharks swimming in the ocean, multiples, like back in like, bro. Now we got like the smallest stuff now, but
part of that is like, for example, with insects usually have like again, not all insects, not generalizing, but a lot of insects have an exoskeleton. That means like they're hard on the outside, mushy on the inside. Whereas we have our skeletons in our body with the soft tissue on the outside. That allows us to breathe, right? That allows us to like actually like breathe, expand our stomachs, chest, etc. With a lot of insects, they breathe through their skin, like spiders and whatever else. They breathe through the skin, so you need oxygen plus nutrients, etc., to be able to grow. Back in prehistoric times, and depending on what part, amount of oxygen in the atmosphere was a lot higher. Like oxygen concentration was a lot higher, so they could use that oxygen resources, etc., to grow. That's not the case anymore. Oxygen levels are a lot lower in the air, and so that causes our insects to stay small. And honestly, I think the other part is also the fact that because of the exoskeleton, if they were too large, they wouldn't be able to move under their own weight. Like that's how heavy their outside would be. That they wouldn't physically be able to control themselves and move around and whatever else. Like it's just that's what happens. Actually, that's what happens to lobsters. I think certain like lobsters are functionally immortal. Like they can't die. They just keep growing and growing and growing. But what happens is every time they shed, like because they've got an exoskeleton, they grow out of their shell, so they keep growing on the inside. They got to create a new shell, and so they molt. And when they molt, it takes a certain amount of energy to actually do that molting process, where they shed their outer skin, push it out, crawl out of it, and then the outer shell hardens again. And that takes so much energy that they get to a certain size where they don't have enough energy, and no one knows exactly what happens, but they either squish themselves to death inside their exoskeleton or like starve to death because they can't get out of their skeleton. So that's one of the curse of immortality with lobsters.
Didn't know that. We done learned so many things today, man.
Fun facts, right?
This is crazy. Now, one more thing before we get into this outro. Is it true that y'all have bird-eating spiders?
Yeah. The huntsman.
You just show me. Don't show me. I don't like spiders. Like, don't even. I'm putting my hand on the thing, bro. I'm not doing nothing. I hate spiders, especially tarantulas. But tarantulas are the coolest.
Tarantulas are small compared to like huntsmen.
Wait, so y'all call them huntsmen? They ain't even call bird-eating spiders.
No, it's like actually. Do you know what a possum is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they eat possums.
I'm good. No, I'm good. Dude, I'm fine. See, I'm fine with Texas because in Texas, there's a 13-year-old kid last week that caught a 13-foot long bull shark.
Wait, no, I'm saying like wait. So they keep possums like that big? I'm sorry, Brad, but I'm stuck.
They're like pretty large. They're like an oversized rat. Like they're slightly larger than a rat.
So are they teeth big? Do they have?
Oh, so huntsmen are harmless to people.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I mean, unless you really piss one off, they're harmless to people.
Do they really sit
before?
Sorry?
They really sit in trees?
Yeah, they usually create like massive webs and just sit and wait for the prey to get to them. The ones you want to look out for are funnel web. Funnel web spiders. So actually, I think there's like out of the top 10, I think top 7 most poisonous or venomous things live in Australia. Anyway, apart from that, the funnel web spider is the world's deadliest spider. It has fangs that can punch through plastic. So if you find one, you're actually not supposed to kill it. You're supposed to put it in like a glass or metal jar, in a fake metal jar kind of thing at that, and call the, either if you can leave it alone and it's safe to do so, leave it alone, call the Australian Reptile Park. They'll send someone out to capture it because they milk those spiders for their venom, because it's from that venom they create the anti-venom. So those spiders are milked, but they are dangerous. Like they're territorial and they they chase you down, they attack you kind of thing. Like they'll come up to you. They're about the size of a tarantula, or a little bit bigger, I think.
Oh. And that's only in Australia.
They as far as I know, they're on Australia. They're pincers. They get on their back legs and they use their front legs to like hiss at you and wave and stuff as like a challenge. And then when they bite you, they like latch on and then they hold and keep pumping venom. They keep pumping venom. If you get bitten, like honestly, like you get bitten by one, you don't get to a hospital, you're gonna die. Like you're going to die. And the problem with that is Australia is a pretty big place and it's very sparsely populated, right? Like in Australia, across the entire country, it has maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish major cities, and a lot of smaller towns and stuff like that. Usually it's the major cities that have resources to combat this kind of fight or whatever, but it can take hours to get to somewhere. Like it's so sparsely populated that, you know, there's I think the population of Australia is like 30 million.
How many we got? We got like what, 7?
24.99 million, right? What's the
we like 8 mil, I think. Something like that.
For the population of the US?
Yeah. Oh no, population is like 500 million. It's the population of New York, right? It is like 8.4 million.
Wait, you said how many people's in America?
About 500, 300 or 500. What's one of them?
I said 8 million. 8 million is in one state. That don't make no sense. You got a lot of people in America, bro.
So 328 million. I was wrong. It wasn't 500. It was 328.
Huge.
Yeah. So like looking at like 8.4 million is what are in like the city of New York, right? So more than a third of the people of Australia live in New York. Like let that sink in. In terms of land size, they're about the same.
Dang, y'all really vast.
It's big.
And Australia is a big country.
Yeah. Most people don't realize it, especially because maps are drawn to make the northern hemisphere look a lot larger than it is. If you look at it on a globe, you see it properly, but maps aren't accurate all the time. Because there's no real way, and this is just a freaking math problem. There's no way to have you know how if you have a box, you could break it down into like a 2D thing with a net, like the net of the box. You can't do that with a sphere. There's no way, no known way, I guess. But you know, people have tried.
Back to the spider. Like, have you seen them? Hey,
I found it. It is. Yeah, no, okay. So Halo Ball was one of the originals, but it's like Unreal Tournament. Team Fortress did it, and like Duke Nukem didn't, and like, you know, Quake Soccer did it, and like all these people did it. But you know, like Rocket League was kind of based off Halo Ball, so I'm vindicated.
There's one like that. I know some people's looking that up as you was talking. They probably figured it out, and they was probably like, "Hey, he right." You know what I'm saying? It did work with it for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something right there. Out of all the stuff we talked about, there's something right there. Halo did play a part in Rocket League. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, let's end with some motivational quotes, man, for our peoples out here, bro. Spec, we'll start with you. Just hit them with something. During this tough time.
Hit him with some. All right. Okay. Let's. I know this is going to be cliche, but this thing's coming off the top of my head. You miss 100% of the shots you do not take. So let's say if you're about to go ask out the girl of your dreams and you don't, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. So might as well just buck up and do it. The only thing that's going to hurt is your pride. Even then, you can still regain a little bit of that.
Indeed. That's a
true
big
experience right there.
Right. That's a big one. Take that to heart, man. Take them shots, bro. How you do?
Is pride worth the cost of not taking the shot, right? That's pretty much it.
Sure.
Yeah. Until your pride does get hurt, then you feel embarrassed.
Yeah, but you gotta be comfortable with that. If you want to be successful anyway, you gotta be used to getting embarrassed.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
It's not important. People gonna forget about it anyways. It's just in the moment. So it makes it good.
Yeah.
All good. All right. How about you, Liquid?
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little heavier, I think. Not to sum with the mood, but I think we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement at the start and everything that's happening. I think what I wanted to say more on is that things are only just getting started. Like, this is not a one-off thing. It's don't expect hey, we protest, or hey, I did my thing on social media or whatever to make things better. That's not how the world works. If it was, things would be so much easier. But no, we're going to have to put a lot more effort in and keep the foot on the pedal to make sure that the changes that we want in the world are reflected there. So, if you feel you're unequipped or you don't have enough information, go out, learn, figure out what's happening, why it's happening. If you need any resources, hit Marcus or I up, and I'm sure we'll be able to give you anything that we know of that's great, that you can use to figure out what you want to do and how you can contribute. But keep strong, keep fighting.
Yep, exactly, man. And I'm just going to piggyback. Well, not really piggyback, but just say, man, like, be grateful for like 3 things a day. Like, it could be the smallest things. Like, I'm grateful that I'm in this podcast with you guys, because there's people around the world that don't even have a laptop, can't even do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? People that can't do none of this. I'm grateful for the seat I'm sitting in, because there's people in the world that don't have a seat or a sofa. You feel me? Like, little stuff like that, man. It's like, I'm grateful for goddamn this Xbox controller, because no one has Xbox systems in the world, man. Like, don't get mad at a game or something like that, because there's people in the world that wish they had a game. You know what I'm saying? So just be grateful. I say, if you just be grateful for 3 things, and I really say think of the 3 smallest things. You know, feel me? That really hits home the most. I'm telling you, there was one person said, like, he's grateful that he just had tires on his car, and he just literally turns down the music and listens to the car tires on the road, like, because there's people in the world that don't even have a freaking car. So, it makes your day, man. It makes you breathe. It makes you appreciate things, and you're in a blessed place right now. If you're seeing this right now, you're in a blessed place. No matter how the situation is, no matter what's going on, you're in a blessed place. And if you're in a tough time right now, man, just keep going. Keep going, because you never know. This could be the start of something new. This could be the start of your outbreak of your success. So a wise man once told me to keep going. I've kept going, and I'm seeing brightness throughout at the end of the tunnel. So I encourage you guys to keep going as well. So,
Here.
Perfect note. Awesome, man. Thank you for the community. Spec peoples, Spec Alpha fan base. Stand up. Good out here, man. All right, you guys have a good one, man.
All right,
Peace.
take care, everyone.